All right, pleasant good evening to class of AT327. My name is Fitzroy Sejan, and my group's topic was aviation safety, aviation leadership in safety. One of the main components of aviation leadership and safety that really resonates with me is the before and after effect. The events leading up prior to a flight or prior to getting in preparation for a flight, and the things, everything that plays into the buildup of what we take into account as professionals and as pilots. So when I was in the military, I was in the military for 5 years as a sergeant, and one of our main focus on any mission was safety. And so I grew up with the mentality of having to prepare myself for a mission, and the same thing goes with preparation for a flight. We have a group of criteria that we follow. In aviation, we follow the I am safe checklist, and that was something that I really hold paramount in preparation for flights, because it sets up a sense of framework in order for me to follow that will help to alleviate any circumstance that could possibly happen. I think it does a good job of covering at least majority of the main important factors of a flight. So I'm going to walk through that. Whereas illness, if you're feeling that you have any form of sickness or any mal feeling, it's behoove you to be a good decipher of how you're feeling and take that into account, and probably not go ahead and do the flight. Medication is another big one as well. The FAA designated certain medication that you can take up to, like, I believe it's 24 hours prior to if you're going to conduct a flight. I know Purdue's rules are a medication up to 24 hours before a flight. Stress, we also have any form of alcohol, fatigue, or emotional factors that come into play. If you know, life happens to everyone. We have situations that might happen where we might have a tragic accident, or a family member not doing so well, or even within yourself, you're just not feeling up to par mentally. It's incumbent upon you to take some time to have that mental clarity and to be able to perform at a high level. So the I am safe checklist that we use as pilots is a good framework to help to develop a safety pattern of behavior into approach of preparation for flight. I think that's important. And as leaders, as you know, someone who's about to become a CFI, that's something that I'll be looking. I'll be taking a close look at in terms of my students and myself as well. How are they preparing in terms of not only their self, but maintenance on the aircraft and their up-to-date knowledge. All of these are factors that we need to take into account as leaders, or have those leadership characteristics and qualities while we're dealing in aviation operations. Another important factor that I want to address in terms of leadership in aviation safety is I've noticed a trend where a lot of CFIs would come out, they would check the fuel and check the oil, and then hop in the plane. As a leader, as a CFI, as someone who is really the head of the flight, I think it's an important factor to sometimes be present with the student during pre-flight. I know it's an unpopular take, but a lot of the different things, especially when they're in the learning phases of it, I meant to say that, especially in the learning stages of flying, to where we're taking a look at how they approach a pre-flight. How what are they running over, if they're using the checklist, if they are actually checking the hinges and checking the pressure and doing the proper checks that a lot of times get pushed under the rug. And so that's another main factor that I also wanted to address. Also, preparation in terms of knowledge. I'm very big on not only having a well-rounded grip on knowledge component of the flight, because we have to apply that knowledge in the air. When I was a young pilot, all I wanted to do was fly and just have the experience and enjoy being up in the air. until I had to realize the amount of work it took behind the scenes to be proficient, to know what's needed when. That's where the application of the knowledge, the wisdom comes into play at that point. And so, as leaders in aviation safety, it's upon us to make sure that we're not only just having a good time up flying, but we know they understand the concept of what we're doing. We have the procedures down packed. We have the ability to use visual cues to our advantage. And the way we learn these things are from experience, but also from by reading and by grasping different bits of information that we can put together, that we can make it valuable and we can apply it to the flight. So those are two important factors that I like to really take into account when it comes to preparation for a flight, and also just being able to be well-rounded in the moment as well. Aviation safety and leadership in aviation safety is a very broad topic, but I have highlighted just a few of them that I would like to signify because they mean a lot to me, especially my upbringing into aviation that started back in 2018, where I've been getting switched from instructor to, I've probably been through at least 20 different instructors from since 2019, and I've realized over the course of time that everyone has their own way of instructing, and they tailor it to that personal relationship between the CFI and the student. I've noticed some safe behaviors and I've noticed some unsafe behaviors, and as a student, to being a sponge from all of those experiences, I've really taken into account different scenarios that I can learn from and different attributes of leadership that I've witnessed, and decided if I want to resemble that or if I need to correct that and be a change in that aspect.